Well, welcome everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome to the North Fork Foodie Tour webinar, Reimagining the School Garden. My name is Barbara Sherrill, the host for Reimagining the School Garden, led by Penny Rudder. For Penny, food is a language, most likely her mother tongue. Penny started cooking for her family when she was 11. Majored in nutrition and biochemistry in college, and from there began a varied journey in learning new food dialects. Penny learned there was so much more to food than science. There was romance, art, history, culture, spirituality, wonderful storytelling, and more. Penny used this holistic approach to teach cooking to young children, including her own, develop a recipe and wellness program for a farmer's market, write a cookbook and health column, plus conduct workshops for a major company and guide special needs families through the maze of the grocery store. In this webinar, Penny describes the process and transformation of ongoing collective work and how feeding a community with a garden nurtures hope, joy, and unity. Penny will be happy to answer your questions. Please click on the Q&A button on your Zoom screen to type them. As you know, there is no charge for logging into any of the Foodie Tour videos or webinars, but we hope that you will consider making a donation. Thank you. Okay, Penny. Hi, Penny.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. I love this tour and I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for including me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad that you could join us. In the past, you've been with us as a docent.
Yes, I have. Yes. So it's fun to literally be on the other side.
Yes. So please tell us, what is the community garden about?
It's an educational garden. And so it is truly about that word leading out of. It is how to take like I said in the intro, it's about the language of food. It's a language that we all can speak, whether we can speak to one another or not in actual words or actions, we can speak to each other in food. And so this is a great way to introduce a communal effort, not only through all the grades of the school now, from pre-K through 12th grade, but also through the community, and to tie that together in this common language. And it's exciting to see that there are so many disciplines in food that can be opened up. We've got history, we've got music, food can make a lot of noise. We've got art, we've got science, we've got culinary skills, we've got history, and we've got family stories. And I think that's the most exciting thing to me, is that, and what I've learned the most from it, I'm a real novice at this. And when we first got the opportunity to do this garden, I like to come up on Sunday afternoons and sit there. And when we first started repurposing it and reimagining it, I would come up and just sit and listen to the plants and ask them to talk to me, because I've always been one who had received the gift of the plant and taken it home and cooked it. I hadn't really, even at my age, understood how those green beans grew, how that eggplant grew, what corn really looked like in its actual formation. And I knew nothing about the language and the beauty of the soil. So it's been a huge awakening. And this is something that I think everybody can experience, and it'd be great for younger children to really learn this early on, so they have a deeper appreciation of what goes on in their food supply, but also in this entire language of food. It's a very, like I said, it's got lots and lots of dialects, and it's fun to be able to learn how to speak them.
Very cool. It sounds like that you have some of Ira Haskell's influence.
Yes, I've been a customer of his for quite a while, and he made a comment to me many years ago that the soil was sacred, and it did resonate resonate with me. I'm very spiritual, but I didn't really understand it until I started in the garden and understanding that the soil has this magnificent beauty and life of its own. It's not only got an entire ecosystem, but it does have a spirituality of its own. It does have a sacredness of its own. It's got a whole life force. And as a young mom, remember my son Christian was playing with roly-polies, and I had no idea what a roly-poly does in the ecosystem of the soil. So it has been really fun to understand that, and my deep love of the environment is kind of what got me involved in this, and to really understand how the soil and the earth all interact. And it's just such a fluid movement, not one stopping and the other starting. It's a true fluid cycle of life, and helping young children understand when they plant a garden, it's not just a garden club. They are creating a life, and that life is above ground and that life is below ground.
Wow. I have to tell you, as being a member of the North Fork Reform Synagogue, being a rabbi, and a person who loves the part of creation from our Judaic history, and to say that we're coming up on Rosh Hashanah, which
Yep.
is the celebration of the new year. And this is so much about our richness and our heritage. Everything you said is what we have learned from generation to generation to generation. And I think there are a lot of Jews that really do not realize that our heritage and our ancestors were farmers.
Yes, yes. Well, and you know, it's not something to fault. It's just not how I grew up. Even cooking at 11 years old, oof, my poor parents, I mean, they were certainly tolerant. I made some doozies. The very first meal I cooked them was lamb chops with gumdrops. And I know my mom loved mint sauce, and I couldn't find any mint sauce. So I thought, well, I'll just put some gumdrops on top of those. You know,
That's creative.
oh, it was not too good. But anyway, I tried. But that's one of the things that we're also trying to do here is one of the beds that we have is a Three Sisters bed. And I called the Smithsonian and talked to the National Museum of the American Indian and asked for advice on it, because I really wanted to start at the beginning. The school grounds in much of the North Fork was the ancestral grounds of the Korchak Indians, and the language that they spoke was Montauk. And sure enough, the variety of corn that we grow in this bed is the Montauk variety of corn. And that bed is agriculturally very significant. It's probably one of the best models ever of companion planting, how the plants grow and support each other botanically and above and below the soil, but also how they show their great spiritual support, how the corn stands up straight and the pole beans wind their tendrils around to support that stalk of corn, and then how the squash forms this beautiful blanket of a nourishing, moisturizing mulch around the whole bed. It's just the most beautiful experience, and I have really enjoyed that. And I wouldn't want children to wait. I'm almost 70. I wouldn't want children to wait until they're 70 to discover there's such beauty and romance and history and culture and storytelling. It's our stories, our family stories, and the seeds. And I think I told you yesterday, I was so excited because I got this order of seeds, and I'm on the waiting list. The Smithsonian gave me a whole list of seed companies to contact who have these heritage and historical heirloom seeds. And because of the pandemic, you know, everyone's sold out and there's waiting lists and waiting lists. But yesterday, I got 3 seed packets in the mail, and I was so excited because 2 of the seed packets were of our Black American heritage. One is a tomato, and they found this seed in a family's collection of memorabilia from their mom, who'd been a cook in a penitentiary in Pennsylvania in the 1840s. And she'd saved this very precious tomato seed from Africa in her apron pocket. And they had saved that. So now we've got those seeds to grow in our African American bed. And we also got an eggplant from Africa that is edible raw, which is really going to be fun, very, very different. So all of our beds, I hope, will have an opportunity to reflect the cultural heritage that we have around Greenport, and have each bed speak to us about the families who live here, the families who've come and built this beautiful North Fork and East End, and particularly our Greenport. We're going to have a Hispanic bed, hopefully a Greek bed, and just, really bring the community into the garden, have the stories of these families be told, and then hopefully have some of the families who have these family gardening skills step forward and say, you know what, my grandmother taught me to do it this way. Let me show you how we did it as a family. Let me show you how I learned as a kid to grow these tomatoes or grow these ground cherries or tomatillos. So it's going to be really fun. We've barely scratched the surface, barely opened the gate to all of this. And certainly with the Jewish heritage, how marvelous to have that happen here. There's a synagogue just down the street. So and down another road as well. So how wonderful to give that opportunity too, to have beds be reflective of the wonderful Jewish heritage on the East End.
Absolutely, absolutely. So for those that are not familiar with the way that this garden, Unity Garden, started, I have the video that I found on your Facebook page. So I'd like to share that. And then after, if you could give us more information about the Unity Garden and how it's grown since then, because this goes back to 2016.
Okay, great.
Good.
I think this is really amazing to see this happening now. There was a point where it didn't look like anything was moving, and then all of a sudden, a couple of people applied for the grant, were awarded this grant. The whole school was involved in that in some capacity. That changed everything. A number of us have been pushing to get the garden expanded to a point where we can get a classroom in. The garden we started with is a very small space, and you can't even get an entire classroom in there to learn.
It was their dream sort of to expand and make it bigger, and my role has just been to kind of help make that actually happen. It's a beautiful thing. Really, that's what's inspiring to me, is creating a new wave of healthy eaters, people who care about the environment, people who understand what goes into their food, and really helping mend this food system that we have.
Yeah, that's right on your Facebook page.
Yeah,
And for those of you that are with us, please, and if you're on Facebook, go to Unity Greenport Unity Garden or Unity School Garden.
It's Greenport School Unity Garden.
Thank you. Okay. So yeah, if you could maybe elaborate on what we just saw and take us for a tour around the garden.
Yes, the original garden is back over behind the stadium, and it's the art teacher who is also the garden club and is co-coordinator of the garden, Brady Wilkins. I think we've talked about turning that into an actual berry bed. And then the garden that I'm sitting in front of now had the original beds on the outside. And then this summer, there were 20 beds that were on the outside. And then this summer we added 20 more beds. They're not all occupied, but they are, this is definitely a classroom in motion for both the community and the school. We do have a classroom set up in the back. The school has been in session for 3 days. So the primary goal is to get school started healthfully and happily, and then we can transition hopefully more of the students into the classroom space that we have. Brady for now is teaching art there. But it's been very awkward with COVID and wanting to, just be good stewards primarily of the health and safety of the community and the school children and our school families is of primary importance. And Mr. Small has been so supportive. So we have that to look forward to. We also hope that the space could be dedicated to some adult workshops as well. But we did put in 20 new beds this summer and maintain that same pledge to the environment, where we didn't use any treated wood. All of our soil is organic. All of our plants are non-GMO. We're very, very careful not to introduce anything that could possibly leach into our surrounding soil or our water system. Around the outside of the garden are pollinator plants. We have a lot of bees and a lot of wasps and a lot of flies. Flies are pollinators. So we're very rich in that capacity. We're very, very lucky. We've had an amazing first summer. We produced a lot of food, lots of cucumbers, lots of peppers, lots of eggplant. We're going to have so many sweet potatoes and winter squash for our fall, lots of tomatoes, beautiful herb beds, lots and lots of squash, carrots, beets, beautiful Swiss chard. So we've been very, very, I think it's beginner's luck. We've been very, very fortunate in being able to actually grow food and produce it and give it, and it's a grow to give garden. So we've been able to give it away. But the students, again, are going to be integral in this, and starting at the very beginning, understanding how food is grown and understanding how to develop a shared food system based around wholesome, healthy foods that they can participate in this entire life force of putting into a healthy soil, watching the plants grow, taking the plants from the fruits that they bear home into a culinary environment, into their families, and telling more stories with that.
Excellent, excellent. We'd love to see the garden.
All right, let me plug myself in here and I will take you over there. Does anybody have any questions?
What do you do with the food that you grow?
It's a grow to give garden, and we give all of our food away on Wednesdays. It's a free-for-all market, and that was how it was set up. We believe in abundance, and we believe that this was given to us as a gift, and so what we grow is also a gift to the community. And we have it we have it available for anyone who comes, and it's actually turned into a beautiful kind of swap. We have people who are bringing art supplies and fabrics and, hold on just a sec, masks and, just all kinds of things to share as well. So it's, again, the spirit of sharing and the spirit that we are all in this together. It's a community, it's a school community, a group of families at school, a group of families in the community who support the school and are just kind of growing up together. And a lot of fun has happened with people who are fifth and sixth generation families at school. They're so happy to see this space be occupied and be blossoming in the summer, because that has not happened before. But this is it. You're going to be blinded here, but this is it.
Well, what is that? What is that we were just looking at?
These are sunflowers. And we have the, I'm going to go to the back of the garden because I don't think you can probably see a thing. Oh, here's our gorgeous Swiss chard. Look.
Yes, no, we can see it beautifully.
Isn't it gorgeous?
It's gorgeous, yes.
Yes. I tell them how beautiful they are. They're just absolutely stunning. This is our mint. Beautiful lemongrass with gorgeous herbs and more Swiss chard. Swiss chard is just champion. We have tomatoes that are, what I've learned from the plants is this. I've learned exuberance from the cucumbers. They're just exuberant. They're all over the place, and they have just taken over, and they're very, very resilient. From the tomatoes, I've learned patience. Oh my gosh, we have so many, and they're so green, except look at this beauty. I'm so glad this is still here. Look at this. Can you see it?
Yes. Beautiful.
You don't know how that is. Our Chadwick cherries and our sun golds have just been wonderful. They are just covered and doing so well. But we've got lots and lots of green tomatoes. This is our, hold on. This is a beautiful winter squash, and it's called a Nutter Butter. See it?
Yes.
And then we've got one that's called a Starry Night. These are our sweet potatoes. Look at those.
Can have those for Thanksgiving.
Yes, first frost. And this is our outdoor classroom. Can you see it?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's so bright out here. We're going to frame.
So we can see it.
We're going to frame the chalkboard, and the kids are socially distanced on the log stools, and we have a donation of the shade sail from Mills, which is going to be really, really helpful. Everyone has been so helpful. We've gotten so many wonderful donations and volunteer hours. The Spar family has been just incredible, and Mills is going to donate the shade sail. We've had Palacia Landscapers has helped, and we got all this mulch here from the South Hole town for free. So people have really, really helped. I want to show you this gorgeous starry night. Can you see that?
Yes.
That is a starry night acorn squash, and it's so beautiful. It looks like they're little white stars embedded all in it. And we've got eggplant. Let me go over here. Am I making you dizzy?
Looks like it's beautiful out.
Oh, it is. Here's some of our eggplant. Here's one there.
Mm.
So we've been so lucky. We've had so much beautiful bounty. It's just been wonderful. Look at how pretty that is. And with the
yes.
school, see, the school colors are purple and yellow.
Okay. If you could bring it up a little bit, it's hard to say. There you go. Thank you.
And then look how they grow. Eggplant are really a fruit. So are green beans. Let me show you these sweet little fairy tales. They're just adorable. Oh, these are little Easter egg ones. Can you see those?
Mm-hmm.
And then these are the fairy tales. They're just adorable. Look at those. You see that?
Yes.
So we're really excited that we've had so much bounty, and let's see what else is over here. Oh yeah, here are crookneck squash. See those? So, and our green tomatoes. There are lots of green tomatoes. Oh, and peppers. Tons of peppers. Look at these. See those?
Wow. That's a lot of peppers.
Ah, yeah. And look at how they grow. I had no idea. Isn't that fun?
That is. Wow. Those look like hot peppers.
No, they're actually sweet. We have, the hottest thing we have are jalapenos. We don't have any of the real crazy hot ones because, again, we have children here and didn't want them taking a bite of something that was going to be scorching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is it. I'll show you from the back so you can see the school and you won't be blinded by all the sun. Here's a good example of our green tomatoes.
That's a green tomato, like fried green tomatoes? Cool.
Well, I've already posted a recipe for that because that's always an option. But this is the garden from the back.
How much space is that?
I don't know. We've got 40 beds and they're kid size. They're 2 feet by about 12 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not that big, but it's wonderful because before in the interior here, all these beds where the tomatoes and the squash and the sweet potatoes were not here. The original beds that are in that video were just on the outside. So all that was here was just grass, which had to be mowed. So that was no fun.
Can you see? I'm sharing the Facebook page.
Oh, great!
So people can see that.
Yes, and that's our logo, and that really explains our vision. Is that the land and sea are very connected. We have to be very protective of what we do, and make sure that we honor both the soil and the sea. And then the sunflower, we hope to be it is our flower. It'd be lovely if we could make it our flower for Greenport, but it is kind of our guardian flower.
Wow. So I see some posts here. And from our conversation, you had mentioned that you have certain days you post certain things.
Yes. On Wednesday is our Wednesdays at Unity Garden from 5 to 6:30. It's open to everyone in the community, and that's when we give away whatever it is we grow: the tomatoes, the Swiss chard, the eggplant, the peppers, anything we grow that I've cut you can have. And that's on Wednesdays from 5 to 6:30. And that's also in the summer. I was so enthralled with the names of some of our plants. We have green zebras, and we have starry nights, and we have nutter butters, and we have black beauties. And I thought, oh my gosh, how fun to make a little game out of it. So that was our Magic Kingdom quiz, kind of like a stay vacation. So every week I asked on Facebook, what do you think is the vegetable behind this name? So that was fun. And that all happens on Wednesday. And then on Thursday is our Taste of Unity Garden. And that's where people submit recipes from their families. Because again, this is educational. This is leading out of your family into our family. How do you take these tomatoes to your family, and what do you do with them? Give us a taste of your table, and welcome us into your table, and we'll welcome you into ours. Again, the language of food and being able to share without actually being able to sit around the table together. So that's why it's virtual. And that's been really, really fun. We've gotten some great recipes. And then on
So
Friday,
this past Thursday, you posted something with cucumbers.
yes.
Tell us a little bit about that recipe.
Yes, our cucumbers were just, goddesses. We had hundreds of cucumbers. They're just about gone. I'm probably going to have well, as long as they're bearing food, I'm not going to touch them, but they're struggling. But there was a gentleman who came two Wednesdays ago, and he was just delightful. And he took some cucumbers home. He said, I'm going to send you this really quick easy pickle recipe. I said, great. Well, not only did he do that, but the very next day he met me in Greenport with a huge bag of okra that I was able to share in the little free pantry. So again, it's turned into how we used to be, just really mutually supportive of each other, and sharing and saying, I've got this is my strength, what's your strength, and just being able to share like we used to. So that's from him. His name is Tom. And we've had pico de gallo. We've had some wonderful recipes from teachers, and just really, again, part of the continuation of the plants telling the story, and then how our families have told their own stories with these plants.
Excellent. And I see here also now, I guess it's Thursdays, you have science break.
That's usually on Friday. And that's, again, came partly because I had no idea of all that was happening in this, I used to call it dirt, I'm not ever going to call it dirt again, in this wonderful ecosystem of the soil. I think the very first post I did was on the roly-poly, because I just couldn't believe what wonderful benefit they were to a garden. And so every Friday is something to do with science. I've done on our butterflies, on our roly-polies, on lightning bugs, on worms. And then I did one a couple of weeks ago on how to save tomato seeds. We really want our seeds to be saved if you so feel you can do that, because it's not that there's a shortage, but why not save them? Why not save them and save that story to be able to pass on, just like the woman whose family discovered in her apron pocket this wonderful tomato from 1840.
Wow. You mentioned in conversation before the little food pantry.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, that's not really related to the garden. It's just something that I do, and it's where sometimes there are people who have their own gardens who have extra that they put food in there. It's, again, building a shared food system. It's completely open. It's open 24 hours a day and completely open to whomever you are. You don't have to declare any kind of need. You just have to show up, and you can take whatever you want or put in whatever you'd like as well. And it has a lot of shelf-stable food, but also I'm really encouraging anyone who has fresh food to donate. So if we have things that are left over from our free-for-all Wednesdays, sometimes it goes in there. Other times I have bags that I deliver to people who are unable to get out of their homes in the neighborhood. But it's just the same philosophy, is that, I believe in abundance, and I believe there's plenty of food. I believe there's plenty of places and opportunities to grow food, and plenty of opportunities to share them. And we just have to be a little creative and get out there and give it a try. And this is this has been very, very successful. It's been open for 2 years, and over 2 years, and there have been about 7 that have been the offspring from this particular pantry, and people are, it's just a very happy place because there's, everybody feels the same, and that's the goal, is we are the same. We all have, we all can speak food, so why not share that language however we can.
Right. And by doing it the way that you're doing, nobody feels less than.
No, absolutely not. And I make a point when I'm there of just it's just a human exchange. I mean, eating is basic. Food is so basic, and it needs to be exchanged with love and complete equality.
Wow. So if you could share the greatest takeaway that you've had from this Unity Garden, from this experience of bringing it from a vision to the garden that you took us on the tour of, what would you say it was?
Well, notwithstanding the opportunity it has for children, I think that you have scratched the surface of it, is that it has been an enormous awakening for me as an adult in just appreciation for people who bring food to us, and for what food means, for what a little seed means, for what the plants mean, and just this whole holistic presence of what we eat and how we appreciate it and cherish it, and how it, yes, it nourishes us, but it does so much more. It tells us a story. It can take us into some romantic flight of fancy. It can take us into art. It can take us into all different areas, however we let it. And it's just to be free with that, and not be, not be just thinking that, oh, this is just a meal. It's not. It's layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of love and work and history and storytelling. I think that's the takeaway, is that this is all a wonderful story of, like you said, of creation.
Wow. I've listened to other videos and other seminars, and I would have to say that you found the golden thread about what the foodie tour is about. It's what we heard Iris say, and if you have not had an opportunity to watch our partner videos, please do. Today was a launching of the Foodie Tour website that's going to be active throughout 2020 and 2021. And we are going to be adding new videos to it, more information as the years go on. And it's been such a pleasure, Penny. Thank you so much for your passion for what you do. Are there any other questions that anybody might have for Penny?
Thank you for having me. It's just a joy, absolutely a joy.
Oh, well, you're welcome. It's our pleasure. And you just click on the Q&A if you have a question. And if I'm missing, no. Okay. And as everybody knows, the Foodie Tour this year has been free of charge for logging on to all of these Foodie Tour videos and webinars. But we would be so happy if you would consider making a donation. And please go back to the website, look at the seminars or the webinars that you've missed. Check us, let's say probably like quarterly. We'll be posting more videos, more webinars, and please like us on Facebook. Thank you all for coming, and thank you so much, Penny. You have a blessed day.
Oh, you too, and thank you all, and just take joy.
Thank you.